What up? Alright, the boxer. I'm going to be doing the character series, and we gonna go with everybody in order. Now, I know I skipped two people, Taker and he who shall not be named. I love Taker. Taker's story is great. I'm not going over Kasim, bro. I'm not going over Kasim. Anyways, we got Jean-Pierre. Now, Jean's character is it's so layered. It's so layered. It's so difficult, where this video realistically was supposed to be out forever ago. But I really had to do my homework so I could get what I really needed to say in order. So, I would like to quote Batman the Animated Series. When it comes down to Jean's whole character, there's a quote where he says, "A fanatic is just a person who redoubles his efforts while losing sight of his goals." That's exactly what Jean did throughout his whole boxing journey, where his whole character was built upon perfection and him thinking that he was above other people, other human beings, because they wasn't able to think as rational as him. They were so busy making mistakes. They were just living very incompetent lives compared to him, in his opinion. In his mind, he doesn't let mistakes slide. He tends to try to get things done to the very minute details, analyze every action, make sure that every action is done the way that he had it played out in his mind, make sure that there is no mistakes made along the way. Where you even see this as he projecting it in his boxing training, where he's in the ring for 5 hours, right? He's in the ring for 5 hours, standing still for 3 hours, 1 hour and 30 minutes. He's going into his stance very slowly, gets into his stance finally, and then it takes forever, where he's slowly making a jab motion at you, but he's making it to a point where there is no mistakes being made throughout all of that. It needs to flow exactly how it is, exactly how he needs it to be. If it doesn't feel perfect, if there's a little chink, if there's a little twitch, a little muscle twitch that isn't right, restart, run it again. He'll do that one singular motion, call it a day. That was his training. That is very telling. It's very telling on where his mental state is. But then when he runs into you, it changes his whole perspective. The way that you perceive life, the way that you perceive his surroundings, everything is very slowed down in his mind due to his mental state from his past. And everything is very, very detailed, very, very, if we are living in a 3D dimension, you sees everything in 4D. Everything is perfectly analyzed in his head. There is nothing that he doesn't see. There is nothing that his eyes does not see. So Jean sees this and he's like, I need to get to that point where now he was already crazy. He was already crazy. Now he's going out into the streets at night on some Batman first year type shit, just fighting random thugs so that he could get the adrenaline, because I feel like that's what he's really looking for. He's looking for his adrenaline to get to the point where he's in a life or death situation, for his body to kick in and everything to just flow in a very zone-like manner. Like if you ever play sports, me personally, I'll share one of my experiences. I play basketball. Now I have a lot of moments like this, but that's because my body, I move around a lot. So I'm always heating up. I actually moved around and heated up so much at one point that you could see the sweat steaming off my body. You can literally see the smoke coming off my body, the aura. You feel me? But in the recent 1v1, I'm literally, my bad, I had hit 2 threes at this point. So I'm already feeling myself. This third shot is a heat check. I'm literally on the pivot. I'm way against the wall. I'm at deep 3-point range. That's my range. I don't really care. That doesn't bother me. I'm sitting there like this. I get into this position But the way that I shot it, the movement from setting my feet, squatting down, getting there, flowing into my body, getting into the release, extending that, flicking the wrist, twisting my body mid-air to get into the point where I'm positioned towards the goal. Everything flowed so right in that moment that I literally, before I even landed and before the shot even left, I said, oh, that's green. And it was all net. It just dropped. It just dropped like a tear. That's what he's looking for. The perfect moment. And he gets that moment when he goes against a couple of thugs. But I want you to analyze something. Because when he had approached them, he had already taken account in his surroundings and everything. He's looking at the thug on the couch. You got a gun. Two of you have a knife. One of you, I don't know whether you have one or not. That's iffy. Hit the dude on the couch. Take the one out on the knife that's closest to me. Gives me 2 seconds to react to the one that's approaching me. Take them out. But he forgot that he didn't take enough into account the fact that, because he had hit the person that he was unsure about, but he didn't take into account the fact that maybe this guy gets up before I'm finished. The guy got up before he was finished, and he was at a distance where he's got a gun at him, and Gene can't close in. He doesn't have enough time to close in his mind. He's like, I'm dead. In that moment, that's when it kicks in for him. The adrenaline zone, step through, boom, right in the face with it. He won't be waking up for that for a week. That feeling that he got, he held on to that, because at that point he felt like he had reached Yu's pinnacle. He had reached the same realm that Yu was in. He's gonna find out in the fight, he in fact did not do that. He wasn't there. He wasn't close. He wasn't close. He was just on a border. Not even a border. He was on like the outline. You feel me? Like, anyways, but yeah, he had finally reached that, and now his training methods, he had changed them, where now he's a lot more aggressive. He's a lot more active with how he's swinging and everything, trying to make sure that he keeps that flow in his body, where he's not even sleeping at this point. He's making sure that he doesn't let his body rest. Let that feeling sneak in. Let it sit. Let it rest. So when the fight comes, I'm ready. Gets to the fight. I don't even want to talk about the pain. I don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna leave a picture of it. Anyways, get to the fight where he has this coach. He has this relationship with his coach, where he's selling you, because his coach had found him abandoned by his father and his mother. What had happened with his father and his mother was that his father was a very clumsy person, and his mother was, she get around, where so his mother had ended up leaving the father, and the father is now, he's a klutz. He doesn't really know how to do anything right in his life. He stumbles around. He's very goofy. There is no way he could take care of this kid in his mind. So he leaves him in a crowd. He abandons him. But we see all of this from Gene's perspective, where he's having this inner monologue where he's like, okay, there's no way that these two purposely ended up making me. There's just their personalities are too contradictory. So I'm gonna just deduce the fact that I was just an accident, and that's okay. Because even if they're not willing to admit it, I can deduce the fact that if I was in this position, it's only rational that I had to have been a mistake. And then when his father is about to abandon him, he's like, I see exactly what he's about to do. Even if he cannot say it to myself, even if he can't say it to me, I'm smart enough, I'm better than him, I'm more rational than him. I can deduce the fact that he's about to leave me in this crowd. He's gonna give me money. He's gonna say that he's gonna be right back. He has to go take care of something real quick. He's gonna leave me in this crowd gonna leave me with some money to go buy something while I wait for him, and he's never gonna come back. And I'm gonna pretend like I don't know anything, because I don't want to make this moment harder than it has to be for him. I'll be fine, but I don't know if he will. That's what's going on in his head. He's a child thinking this. He's a child thinking like this. So when we get into the fight, and I think he lost his way. He didn't really know what he was chasing. In the fight, he's obsessing over you and his perfection, because it's clear that he's on par with him at the start until you finally locks in and he gets into that running stance. And now it's clear that the gap is there, but he's still trying to catch up, because he's like, he's where I need to be. If I can reach there, then everything will be fine. You will never reach there. And then another very telling moment is that, because at the end of the first round, he was about to die. He was literally about to die if the bell didn't save him. And then he gets in the corner and his coach is telling him, because his coach is his father figure, his coach's daughter is married to this man, and he's watching her husband about to be murdered in the ring, and he was ordered not to throw in the towel, so he can't do nothing about it. He's sitting there watching, and he's like, I get that you got to this point that you've been working so hard for, but you need to realize that there is more to life than what you are looking for. And Gene's response was, isn't as humans all we have in control of ourselves is what our goals are and how we're gonna reach them? That's all we have. That's the only thing we should be chasing. Get out my way. That's very telling, because he doesn't even know what his goal is. He's so misguided, where even the coaches, he's thinking to himself, he's like, I recognized your talent for boxing so early on, so I taught you, but I should have taught you along the way that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be human. Our mistakes are what make us human. Our feelings are what make us human. You've been dodging them for so long that you lost your way. You can't seem to realize that. And I failed you in that matter. And that's very sad, because Gene, his perspective, we double back to when his father had abandoned him, where he's selling to himself, where he's playing out how everything will go, and he's trying to hold everything in. But we get to see a part where we didn't see initially, where he's like, at least that's I wish I could tell myself that I'm just gonna stay calm about it and not react. But he's breaking down crying. In a way, he's very similar to Donald Knopf, where they both got lost in their goals because they didn't want to have to ever feel vulnerable ever again. His idea of perfection was he didn't even know what it really was, where you are sitting there and you're chasing after this perfection that you think if you just shut out your emotions, everything will be fine. If you could think very rational about everything, but that's just not how life goes. Things happen. We all make mistakes. The whole point of the human experience is to make those mistakes and work through them. Build upon what you go through. That's what he didn't understand. That's why when he was getting shot, when he was about to get shot, because he was thrown off in that moment. He didn't analyze and he didn't know what to do. That's when that kicked in. That's when his humanity kicked in. That's when he really got his blood pumping. Because before that, his eyes had never looked like that. From that point on, his eyes was a lot more brighter. They had some life in them. That's his humanity kicking in. That's his energy. And when he gets to the point where he's about to die, if you lands that last hit in the second round, and his wife comes through and she's like, no, please don't leave me. You're about to be a father. I'm pregnant. And he finally snaps out of it, where he's like, what am I doing? Why am I sitting here why am I putting myself through this? Have I been ignoring her this whole time? And he literally leaves the ring, hands the belt over to you, walks away with his coach, walks away with his wife, rests his injuries, and he's sitting there and he's telling the coach, He's asking if he's gonna be a good father, because this is really just daddy issues. When he's sitting there, he's like, I'm gonna be able to be in my kid's life the way that my father wasn't in mine. I'm gonna be able to give him the love that I didn't get. He won't have to think. He won't have to sort of delude himself in the way that I did in order to make himself seem like he was better than everyone else. Now he has a second chance. And I just think it's so great. I think it's so fucking fascinating, bro. I think it's very fascinating how he deluded himself all this time into thinking that he was better than everybody, when in reality, you just a kid. You're just a kid who didn't have your family, bro. And you didn't want to let the world see that. Alright. Yeah, Gene was a character, boy. Gene was a character. I don't even think I explained him the way I wanted to. I don't even think I did, bro. But Yuto's next. If I'm correct, Yuto's next. We have some cinema. He's my favorite. Y'all boys stay safe, though. I'm out.